Have you ever seen someone win without even trying? Our town had this problem that made everyone lose their minds. Lake Morrison was basically dying every summer. The water would drop so low you could walk halfway across it, and all the fish would just float belly up. It smelled like hot garbage mixed with dead seafood. This was killing our town because Lake Morrison was literally our only claim to fame. Every summer, families would drive 3 hours to camp and fish here, but for the past 5 years, they'd show up to find a giant mud puddle with some sad water in the middle. The town council went absolutely nuts trying to fix it. They hired 3 different engineering firms for over $200,000. One expert blamed climate change. Another said our pipes were ancient. The third guy insisted it was bad drainage from the new shopping center. Every month there was a town hall meeting that turned into a screaming match. People were furious about their tax money being wasted. Mrs. Patterson would stand up and yell about her dead koi pond. Jim from the bait shop said he might have to close because nobody was buying worms anymore. Last August, the biggest meeting yet was packed wall to wall. The mayor looked exhausted as person after person complained. That's when Curtis Webb stood up from the back row. Now Curtis was this quiet guy who fixed people's sheds and cleaned gutters. He drove this beat-up blue truck with paint cans rattling around in the back. Most people barely knew his name. He wore the same faded overalls every day and had this habit of adjusting his baseball cap when he talked. Curtis cleared his throat and said, "I think the water's leaking through the West Dam. There's probably a crack or something." The room went dead silent. Then Councilman Bradley actually laughed out loud. "Curtis, we've had actual engineers examine every inch of that dam. I think they know more than someone who hammers nails for a living." People started whispering and snickering. Curtis just nodded, sat back down, and didn't say another word. That weekend, Curtis rented a kayak from the marina for $20. He paddled out to the west side of the dam where nobody ever went because it was all thick woods and mosquitoes. He brought his old flip phone that still recorded videos. What he found was insane. There was this crack in the concrete about the size of a basketball, and water was just pouring out like a broken fire hydrant. It was shooting straight into the woods where nobody could see it from shore. Curtis filmed the whole thing, narrating in his calm voice, "Well, here's your leak. Been going on for years by the look of it. That's a lot of water." He posted the video in our town's Facebook group Sunday night with the caption, "Just a thought." By Monday morning, it had 847 shares and 312 comments. People were tagging the mayor, the city council, their neighbors, everyone. The comments were brutal. "Maybe hire Curtis next time instead of those fancy experts. 200 grand down the drain, literally. Curtis for mayor." By Tuesday, the city finally sent engineers to check Curtis's discovery. Turns out he was completely right. The crack had been draining thousands of gallons daily for at least 3 years. All those expensive reports had somehow missed the most obvious spot. They fixed it in 2 weeks for $8,000, just pumped in some concrete and sealed it up. Within 2 months, Lake Morrison was back to normal. Fish were jumping, families were camping, Jim's bait shop was busy again. The town wanted to throw Curtis a huge celebration. The mayor planned this whole ribbon-cutting ceremony and wanted to give him a plaque. Local newspaper wanted to interview him. Curtis didn't show up to any of it. He was too busy fixing someone's garage door and didn't want the attention.